Hello, everyone. In my opinion, this could very well be the biggest moment for Hedera moving forward from here. I know that sounds bold. That might even sound like hype. I also realize that many of you guys have already heard about Heiro. I'm going to expand on this. I keep seeing it in my feed. I couldn't ignore it. I thought I'd get more into the weeds about it. I'm telling you flat out. I'll give you a little hint moving forward. IBM. Yeah, that's right. This is a huge moment moving forward for Hedera. I had to study it, I had to get into the weeds about it, and now I get it. And I want to present this to you because if you hold hbar, you're going to be bullish as all you know what on this. And if you're thinking about getting into Hedera, but you've heard a lot of negative press about this, I'm telling you flat out, you may want to reconsider that. I know it seems like I'm trying to get everybody into Hedera. That's not my goal, but I want to share this with you. It's research. The hypothesis of why Hedera matters moving forward. Numerous reasons, but in my opinion, as of lately, this takes the cake. It absolutely takes the cake. We're going to start off with this, straight from Hedera, believe it or not. Let's jump into it. And if anything, if you haven't done so already, smash the like. Again, we're going to get into all this, why it matters, and if anything, share my key research on why I'm so bullish on this. First thing I'm going to do is take over to Hedera on X. As you see right here, like it says, in case you missed it, that's what it stands for in that particular abbreviation, in a keynote at the OS Summit, on September 16th, co-founder of Hedera and co-founder and chief scientist at hashgraph, Dr. Leemon Baird, introduced this thing called IF Decentralized Project, LF, okay? Heiro, and that's short for hieroglyphics, okay? As I get more into this, I want to share why this is important. It's because, like it says, it's the next generation in open source. That is another key takeaway that you want to have in regards to this. And I get it. Plenty of people cover this, but not enough people are sharing with you the real, true, bigger deal. And that's no knock on anybody. Okay? So I'm not going to necessarily play this whole video. I'm going to share a clip with you here in a bit. It comes from Brandon, the hbar Bull, awesome content creator. Most of you guys already follow him anyway. But I want to get into why all of this, of course, is important. On this, that was posted literally 9 days ago from Hedera, is about continuing this conversation. Dr. Leemon Baird moderated a panel with Hedera ecosystem members. Again, think about some of these terms, ecosystem, okay? And it's to discuss this whole thing with LF Decentralized Trust to discuss the role of open source software in today's world and future. Moving forward, again, key things, open source. Focus on open source. All right. Some people may feel as though, oh, that's not that big of a deal. It's a huge deal, especially for Hedera moving forward. Here's some key people that were at this. All right. Other people share this. Now, what I want to get into is this. If you go over to Hiero.org, you will see this disclaimer, if you will, from IBM. It's always great to see things posted by IBM. IBM is, man, they're in everything. So you have IBM, which, by the way, means International Business Machine, right? Many years I didn't even know that, okay? But it states, as longtime contributor to the Hyperledger project, now LF Decentralized Trust, interesting, and as a Hedera Council member, because they're part of the, the big wigs over at the Hedera Governing Council, which is the most impressive one out there, in my opinion. We are thrilled to see Hedera's code base integrated into Linux Foundation. Another thing to focus on, everybody, Linux Foundation. Decentralized trust. This milestone represents a powerful synergy. Hedera will benefit from the Linux Foundation's unparalleled experience in open collaborative governance, while LFDT gains a significant DLT project backed by a vibrant developer ecosystem. Don't lose track on some of these key terms. Ecosystem, open source, and Linux, okay? And also a little bit about the whole thing like AI, all right? So that's on Hiero.org, okay? So check this out. You're going to hear this presentation here in a bit from Dr. Leemon Baird. Again, a clip from Brandon. Did an excellent job with his visuals, all of it, right? So I thought I would clip it. Can't take full credit for that clip, so I at least give them a shout out. On Hiero.org, it says, why is Hiero open source? The main goal for Hiero is to create a diverse community of developers, dreamers, and builders working to make the world fair, fast, and secure. To achieve that goal, it is critical that everyone can access the source of Hiero and move the project forward. A decentralized network that is used by enterprises and critical infrastructure around the world must be vendor neutral and fully auditable. Key areas: decentralized network that's used by enterprises. Okay, critical infrastructure. Taking to this next part of what's important. If you're going to go, nerd it out, as I would say, and go to this particular website, which is lfdecentralizedtrust.org, you will see Hiero, introducing Hiero, bringing Hedera's core network software to Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust. Now, for some of you guys that are new to all this, you might not know some of these terms, and that's okay. We all learn when we learn, and we have things introduced when it's introduced. A decentralized trust, just for the record, is a system that reduces the need, of course, for participants to trust each other by distributing control and decision making across a network. And of course, that means collaborations with other systems, smart IoT systems, financial services, information sharing, voting and governance. This whole list goes on and on and on. Okay. And again, that's something I want you to take away from this. What we're going to do now, basically speaking, is I'm going to play this clip that's from Brandon over at the hbar Bowl. Okay. Listen to this, soak it in. We'll come back, and you definitely want to stick around for what I have in that regard. Okay, we'll come right back. Here we go.
It's great to be here today. So we have the Linux Foundation, and within that there's LFDT, Linux Foundation Distributed Trust, Decentralized Trust, and then within that there is Hiero. The Hiero project is the contribution from Hedera of all of the code. So this is the first time that a public blockchain DLT has taken all of its code, its open source code, and put it in an independent organization. So of course we have representatives on it. Hedera has joined LFDT, but it's independent. We don't control it. You can get involved. You can become a contributor and then a maintainer, and then you can become part of the leadership and you can help run it. This is independent. This is a big deal. We are the first public blockchain or DLT to do this. I don't think we're the last. I think everyone should be doing this. And everything has been contributed. So it is the code for the mainnet validator nodes. It's the code for the mirror nodes that watch it and remember it. It's the code for the explorers that allow you to go back and see the whole history and do queries on it. It's the code for SDKs that help you to build on top of it. It's the code for all sorts of other tools. And this is just the beginning. This is what Hiero has right now. But if you are, for example, building a wallet in the ecosystem, you could have your wallet project be a project under Hiero. We are happy to have you bring your open source project and make it part of Hiero. And we can bring everyone together to work on this together. So this is what Hiero is. Today is actually the 5th anniversary. Today is the 5th anniversary of open access. This is when Hedera first became accessible to the world. So the network had been running with just a test group using it, and it was 5 years ago today that Hedera opened up to the world. And now today, 5 years later, is the first time that any public blockchain or DLT has contributed all of its open source code to this independent organization, And so today we are happy to celebrate our 5th anniversary with this major milestone. Hiero, as in hieroglyphics, the logo for it is actually the hieroglyphic for the letter H in ancient Egyptian. And you can see there a picture of an actual ancient Egyptian carved wall that has the Hiero logo in it. And that is the hieroglyphic for the letter H. We are very excited to get you involved. So there are many ways that you can become involved. If you are a developer, if you are into open source, but maybe this blockchain, Web3, cryptocurrency, and NFTs and smart contracts, maybe that is a world that you haven't yet dug into. This is the perfect bridge for you. This is the perfect way for you to get involved in this new world of Web3, if you're deeply into Web 2. If this is all new to you, this is the way to get involved. Because it's under the Linux Foundation, under LFDT, you can trust it. We are going to be spending a lot of effort on making this accessible for you so that it's easy for you to get involved. So how can you do that? Well, you can go to the lfdecentralizedtrust.org website. That's the LFDT website. And the LFDT website has all of the projects in LFDT, including Heiro. Or you can just go to hiro.org, and you can see all of the projects that will become part of Heiro, starting with all of this code that was contributed that I mentioned. But it will grow over time. And so from there, you can go to all of the GitHub repos. There's a lot of repos. And it's over 100 repos, I think. It's a huge number of repos. And you can get involved in those. You can see what's there. You can download it. You can play with it. You can start to contribute it. You can write issues for it. You can start to do commits and fix bugs, add features. You can discuss the commits and PRs from other people. You can discuss the issues online. You can even create PRs. And as you contribute, you can become a maintainer. You can become part of the core group that is actually building this ecosystem. And then you can even be part of the leadership. So I said we have representation on it, but over time, you become the leadership of Heiro. And that's the way it should be. I'm excited to be part of Heiro, and I don't control it. And I'm excited to have you become part of Heiro and be involved in building it up. And then, of course, if you're already a Web3 veteran, if you're already a native of this ecosystem and you're already building on Hedera, you can now switch over to this Heiro ecosystem. And in fact, you can get your project, if you would like, to become part of Heiro. Heiro is an umbrella for all the projects. Why not join Heiro? And then your project will be part of the advertising of Heiro, and you'll be part of the ecosystem of people that are developing Heiro. So there are many different ways you can get involved. I think this is the future. This is the future of Hedera. We're betting everything on this. But I think this is the future of blockchain. This is the future of DLT. This is the way the world needs to go. You need to have open source software. That's a good foundation. But then you also need independent, open governance of it. And that's also important, of this code base. And so I think that we're blazing the way here in a way that other people will also be following. And this is important. So I would encourage you to get involved in that. I would encourage you to give us your feedback on where you would like it to be going and how you would like it to be evolving over time. And let me know what we can do for you. Let me know your feedback and how we can help you. Let me know how we can make it easier for you. I hope you'll come by our booth. I hope you'll come by our panel. I hope that you will come and talk to me if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like to do. And I just thank you for your attention. Thanks.
Okay, welcome back. So we're going to jump into now is this. This is, in my opinion, Dr. Leemon Baird's call to action. You guys know me, I cover quant. Gilbert Verdian had a call to action. Again, Dr. Leemon Baird's call to action, okay? So what's significant here is now you see this whole thing of open source. You see, this shift over to Heiro is incentivizing everybody to, hey, come join us. And it's not just them at Hedera recognizing it. They literally are recommending everybody to do this, okay? Moving forward, and I pointed this out before, but I want to give you another example. And I'm not going to play this video because it's too techy and nobody needs to really see this unless you're a developer. But again, these are examples. The reason why I'm sharing this with you, it says launch your token on Hedera in just 5 minutes. Now you may be wondering about some of this stuff, but this was posted just 1 day ago. Okay. Again, every action has a reaction. Everything that we cover here is cause and effect. Dr. Leemon Baird with what he's sharing. And then you see this. Okay. I'm telling you flat out, if you have a system that incentivizes people, lights a fire under their butt. I know I'm getting carried away. They will come. It's kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. All right. And I've shared a demo about this in the past. I don't know if it was on a live show or whatnot. But again, the point is 5 minutes. People like the idea of something that's easy to use and easy to understand, and the whole thing of like the repos. Think about this. I'll come back in the frame for a moment. Dr. Leemon Baird was talking about repos. He's not talking about like repossessing somebody's property. Repo as in repository. All right. Many years ago, when I was doing the whole thing with Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, NW4 MP, New Weapons for Multiplayer mod, we had worked with the whole thing of repositories, right? And so, yeah, basically going in and looking at other code out there and taking that because it was open source and applying it to our needs. I'm telling you flat out, this is going to be simplistic. And if anything, moving forward, you're going to see many more projects joining the ecosystem. For me, that's where it's always been at. Okay. I'm not going to play this, but I want to give that example. There is going to be some companies that I decided to dive deeper into. Not super long deep dive, like an hour or anything like that. But I want you guys to keep in mind that, there's about roughly 3 key companies that I think we should put some emphasis on that are some of the wealthiest companies that were ever created that are what? Open source. Now, we understand there's a challenge in ranking open source companies, of course, by wealth. And while there are many successful companies built on open source foundations, ranking them, let's face it, definitively by wealth can be tricky because of valuation methods, open source contributions, I should say, and of course, business models. But I had a list of 10, and on this list, I thought I'd get into some key ones. I'll give you a clue. All of these ones in some way are tied to IBM. So first one we're going to start off with is Red Hat. Now you may be wondering, like, why get into some of this? Again, it's examples moving forward. It's for you to understand how big of a deal this truly is, because sometimes you can see things shared on the internet, like, oh, hey, Dr. Leemon Baird, he's so bullish about this Heiro. They're all bullish, it seems like, right? But the key thing is understanding the bigger picture with proven representations, proven models of companies that have used this open source and so on. This is why I'm sharing this with you. Start off with Red Hat. Enterprise Linux AI is here. Again, keyword Linux. Develop, test, and run generative AI models on the Linux platform you trust, now available through our cloud and hardware partners. Now, you may be wondering why I point this out. Again, Linux, okay, this is also open source. And more importantly, what do you see here? Red Hat is the leading provider of enterprise open source software solutions, just like we pointed out recently, just in case you forgot about it, in regards to Heiro, okay? Because again, what does it say here when you go to Heiro? Decentralized network that is used by enterprises and critical infrastructure. So that matches up, okay? Again, maybe birds of feather really do flock together, right? So thought I'd point that out. And again, right side of the screen, more than 90% of companies in the United States, Fortune 500 companies, continue to rely on Red Hat. Okay, many of you guys already know about Red Hat. And just to put some other emphasis on some of my other key findings, and it's just Wikipedia. I mean, technically speaking, if anybody could really do this, but it's just, again, thinking outside the box. The reason why this is a big deal is because Red Hat Inc., formerly Red Hat Software Inc., is an American software company that provides open source software products to who? Enterprises. And is a subsidiary of who? Ooh, boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew. IBM. So interesting to see, again, just in case you missed it, this disclaimer from IBM. IBM sitting on the Hedera Governing Council, and this disclaimer in regards to IBM and Hedera and Heiro moving forward. Taking into this other part on why this is all important, back to this reference, founded in 1993. Red Hat has its corporate headquarters in Raleigh, North Carolina, with other offices worldwide. But again, open source products to enterprises, subsidiary of who? IBM. That is truly, truly a big deal. Now, what's another example of open source that is one of the wealthiest ones out there? Okay, like in the top 10 of open source, and if anything has connection to IBM and Linux. Well, enter MySQL. While you guys have an IT background, you've been using this for years, have you not? So MySQL also is open source relational database management system. Its name is a combination of the name of co-founder Michael Woodin's daughter, My, and SQL, right? Structured query language. But again, languages, okay? And as I take you down to this, what do you see? Plain as day. Overview. Talks about how it's written in C and even C++. And you have this parser, but more importantly, you see that many other system platforms use this, a whole bunch, AIX, BSDI, and more importantly, IBM. Yep, IBM with their particular systems. You even see Microsoft. You see countless other examples, right? Because it's understanding that it's open source. And you even see, for example, Oracle part of the whole mix, okay? So that's also a big deal. All right, what about another example? All right, well, let's take you to Docker. Some of you guys are familiar with Docker. Some of you aren't. That's okay. Develop faster, run anywhere. Build with the #1 most used developer tool. Okay, what does it say here? You can download it, you get the gist. If you go over to the Wikipedia entry in regards to Docker software, you will see that its initial release was March 20th, 2013, 11 years ago. Again, I want you guys to understand adoption. Docker is a set of platform as a service products that use OS level virtualization, which is operating system virtualization paradigm, to deliver what, everybody? Software and packages called containers. The service has both free and premium tiers. The software that hosts the containers is called Docker Engine. It was first released in 2013 and developed by Docker Inc. Excuse me, not Doctor, Docker. Docker is a tool that is used to automate the deployment of applications in lightweight containers so that applications can work efficiently in different environments in isolation. Again, back to the whole thing of Heiro. Again, all this adds up even with what Dr. Leemon Baird was mentioning. Okay? So Hedera is lighting a fire, if you will, and sometimes people just don't understand some of this because they don't see the examples. That's another thing I want to point out to you. Now, as I take you to an example, because some of you guys want examples of, I need to see more examples of mass adoption for Hedera. Well, we're not there yet. But it's that road to getting there. Here are some examples. And by the way, does it mention Red Hat? Absolutely. Understand, like I said, birds of feather flock together. September 19, 2013, Red Hat and Docker announced a collaboration around Fedora, Red Hat Enterprise, and boom, Linux. Understand, Heiro, boom, Linux. Even on October 15, 2014, Microsoft announced integration with Docker into Windows Server. Then you have some of these other ones. Then you have what? IBM. December 4, 2014, IBM announced a strategic partnership with Docker that enables Docker to integrate more closely with the IBM cloud. Again, understand this. IBM already gets it. Us in retail, we just, maybe you need somebody like me to break it down on why it's that much of a big deal. Because moving forward, if you have Hedera, that's going to have a suite of all of these particular ones that are open source, part of its ecosystem. Hey, I don't need to tell you what Hedera will be worth in the future. You can have an idea of that already. And more importantly, look what it says here. IBM Cloud Container Registry. And again, boom, on IBM. All this adds up. And that's why I want to bring it to you guys. Not a huge, super long video by any means, but really important for everybody to understand, again, and I know I overuse this statement, but the bigger picture of things. Sometimes the news comes right before our eyes. Even I'm guilty of it. And it's just like, oh, okay, Heiro. But they keep putting that out, and it was bugging me. I thought I'd bring it to you guys. So thanks for watching today's video. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, simply type into the comments Heiro, and that's spelled Hiero, short for hieroglyphics. And if you misspell, it's all right. But whatever the case be, I'm so glad that you guys listened to the end if you did so. So just doing that little quick favor, more than appreciate it. Again, appreciate you guys listen to those outlines. And as the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD, 110%. We'll see you on the next one.
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. Say goodbye to complicated setups and hello to Decent Wallet, the hassle-free solution to your digital currency needs. With just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.